Hello and welcome to the Wedding Guide podcast. I'm your host, Pete the Celebrant, and we are proudly sponsored by Easy Weddings. Easy Weddings helps thousands of couples nail their big day every year. With their award-winning directory and mobile apps, you can find and book top-rated wedding suppliers. You can stay on track with their planning tools, or for a more hands-off approach, you can work with a wedding planner to save you time and money. And the best thing, it's free. So jump on to easyweddings.com.au to start your stress-free journey up the aisle today. Joining us for the episode is Fadi and Zuzana, who have created Chipin, a crowd gifting service. They take us through this incredible new and convenient way to give and receive gifts, especially when it comes to your wedding. Allow me to introduce you to the very talented Fadi and Zuzana. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and welcome to the podcast, Fadi and Zuzana. How are you both doing?
Hey, Pete. Yeah, great. Yourself?
We're trying to stay safe and sane in this lockdown, number 6.0 right now. So yeah, getting there.
Yes, I think trying to keep sane is the main battle within lockdown. But you've been very productive over these last couple of years, and thus what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about what you've created, talk about Chipin. But before we get to that, tell us about yourselves. Tell us about how you got together and proposal story if you want.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you want to start?
So we are one of those COVID wedding couples that we didn't get married, unfortunately, yet. We're still waiting on that. We met 7 years ago.
Yep.
I have a very dramatic story of meeting each other because we met in my country, which is Slovakia. Fadi is Iraqi, but Australian. And he managed to somehow meet my best friend across the world in Australia.
That's right.
Then come for a visit, and we saw each other, and sort of decided that I'm just going to move from Slovakia over here by myself, and we're going to try it out. And we've been together for 7 years now. And Fadi proposed almost 2 years ago, almost.
Yeah. So end of 2019.
Yeah.
We proposed and came straight into COVID.
Yeah, it was unexpected because we wanted to have wedding, actually 2 weddings, because we need to have one back in Slovakia with my family and then one here. And we're planning everything. And a week before we were meant to fly to Sydney to put a deposit down on our venue, COVID lockdown started. Yay!
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah. So that's how we came. That's how we are together, and that sort of ties to Chipin, sort of, because back when we used to live in Sydney, because now we live in Melbourne, I have this very close friend, and I struggled really hard to get her present. And I just told Fadi, like, look, man, this is ridiculous. Like, why there isn't a service that tells me what someone wants so I could just send her money? And then imagine that as like, ding, 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 Fadi being like, oh, cash money moment.
That's when I realized, like, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out what someone wants with Facebook and all the information you can gather about someone. And then that led to the whole idea of what do actual people want versus what they need. And we went through many iterations of Chipin. It actually started off with the company name as Present. And then we realized that we had to, the name wasn't really sticking. So, it was not until I actually spoke to my mum, and she's like, why don't you just call it Chipin? And I was like, where was this 1 year ago? And then, since then, I was like, thanks, mum. And we ended the same time I proposed. So, we came into 2020 just really motivated, just riding that motivation train of, being separated from family. Work was just picking up just in our industry because, we work remotely, and that whole year just became just trying to get as much as you can done, and we're still doing it. That's a great part. So we're still in it.
Cool.
So beginning of 2021 is when I quit my full-time job because we decided that we need someone to deal with Chipin's marketing. That's how I found you. So yay. And pretty much Fadi is going to be full-time on it in a month's time. No, sorry, my bad. In a month's time. And we want to launch, and we're aiming to launch by end of September. But you know how it is; it's unpredictable every time. But that's what we're aiming for right now. So hopefully September will be out. Look out.
Awesome. Well, I'll just say this: you've created an incredible product, which I know will help hundreds of thousands of couples who are getting married and who just want to make this gift giving easy for them and for family members. But it also goes beyond that, because it goes just into people's personal worlds for the birthdays and just gifts in general. And even just keeping a reminder for yourself of like, oh, I remember seeing that, and I just, put it somewhere, was not only safe to remember, but others could actually chip in and contribute to. And then it works great for groups, whether it be community groups or networking groups, or just communities where people want to give to something, and rather than sharing around, or here are my bank details and trying to send it to everyone, you just send them this one link that could have one or multiple items that they can contribute towards. So why don't you share with us? So it came from this need that you could see. You wanted to give a gift to a friend. It was hard because you didn't know what they wanted. So you've created this program. Tell us about it, and then I'll share my experience from it.
Definitely. So I think, the idea where it originated, as Zuzana mentioned, was that experience. But as I started looking into it deeper and then looking into the actual philosophy of just gift giving in general and how it's intertwined with society, is about, to build trust, you need to show that you're interested in someone. To show you're interested, you need to present them with an item or gift, and that's how we built, how societies are built through trust and relationships, and that's how we form groups of people and so forth. So it's an exercise we all already perform. And what's really interesting about it is, me and Zuzana, throughout our relationships, we've always told each other what we want for gifts, and we couldn't be happier because we know what we want. And we realize that what's that communication barrier that stops me from wanting to tell someone else, and that's what it becomes. It's that over time building relationships to strengthen, and we feel like that's what was lost, that it requires that time. But at the same time, if someone that you care about is trying to figure you out, the least you could do as well is help them out. So it makes that, there is no wastage in that appreciation that someone's trying to deliver.
And also, I would say that if people that you're close to, they don't always want to ask you what you want, because they want to seem like they know you so well that they get you something.
Yeah.
But then we did research so many documents, so many different research is done already on this topic in Australia, and we discovered that gifting is actually incredibly wasteful and creates so much stuff that goes to landfill, including the wrapping paper that's not recyclable, majority of it. So we just thought that we want to make something that's more sustainable, that makes the gifting easier and more meaningful in a way, because we reduce the awkwardness between the givers and the recipients. And I don't know, have you ever received a gift that you didn't like?
I think myself and everyone else on earth could probably put their hand up for that. Yeah.
Definitely. Statistically speaking, when we survey, we're getting results like 1 in 2, because anyone you ask would recall, the last time they got not a great gift. And it's funny because I was mentioning this to Zuz, I was saying to her, if I gave you something you didn't want, would you consider that a gift? Because there's so many options that you do afterwards with it that it becomes almost like an exercise that we need to be performing. It's a communication thing, right? Because if that was a known factor, you'd do it automatically, and that's what you're really trying to find out. That's what it's
because isn't it like 2 in 5 people re-gift or something?
Yeah, and that's the other option, like double handling, right? The re-gifting aspect is like you got to store it and wait for that event so that you could pass it on.
Or refunding it, or then there are options of reselling gifts online, or then you have a storage locker and then it just gathers dust, and it's like, why? Like gifting hasn't changed in centuries, and it's like
the other funny one I always remember is the gift cards. So I know gift cards are like a great alternative, and I think everyone's aware that it's like a band-aid because it still represents that. What's funny is, or what I find funny is that Blockbuster was the one who invented the gift card, and it just shows how complicated that system is as well from a sort of a relative perspective there. But yeah, it's just a lot of symbolic things that we do that breaks down those barriers. So yeah, you could be building upon.
And just to answer the question, how does Chipin work? So Chipin works as the first step is to create your own, we call it chip list, because we want to have a chip list of a wish list. And our chip lists are universal in a way because you can either add products that you can find on our platform, which is physical products, experiences, language courses, and culinary classes or something. Two, if you don't see it, you can create your own fund, which means that you can pretty much, if you want to renovate your bathroom, you want to fund your honeymoon for the couples, you want to anything like that's why I create a fund. And then the second step is you just need to let your family know, and they don't even have to have an account, family and friends, sorry. They don't even have to have an account because they can also contribute anonymously. And all they need to have is the link. And we both function as a platform. We will function, when we launch as an app and as a website. So whatever you pick, you can choose them. And then you just watch all the Chipins coming, and then you can redeem them either as cash to your account or purchase it as a gift that you selected.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the 4 steps. Yeah. Do you want to add anything? Yeah.
No, it's great. I love that you've delved into the history and the bit of philosophy of gift giving, and you've just reminded me of even talking with just when you give someone a gift, like you can just put money in there, but then some people think if you just give them money, it's almost like an insult, like you don't know them well enough to give them a gift, and it's sort of like I just don't want to give them something that they don't like. So if I give them money, they can do whatever. But it might, for some people, particularly who their love language is getting a gift, it might not mean so much to them. So, and of course, you don't want to give them something that they don't like. And a gift voucher, a gift voucher is good. Like it's a bit more specific, but it's still broad. But what I like about Chipin is someone can create their very own list. And it's not at one store, because they might want to get something from Apple and they want something from Bunnings, and they want to learn that language, or they want to go learn the piano, and they can literally create a profile with everything they wanted. It could be throughout the year, it could just be for one event, and it might be an ongoing thing. And for our audience here, it could be for their wedding. And rather than going to Myer, and I assume people still do that, the Myer, and you go and you scan all the things that you want. Where this is, you're not stuck to one store, and you're not stuck to a physical product either. And you can create this profile of your own that you want friends and families to contribute to. And because we're all online, we're all on our phone, it makes it so easy to create this list, because you've probably already know 20 things at the top of your head. You're like, we want that as a new couple. We want that and that and that. I think it's great. So you've done well. And look, let me, I'll run through my personal experience from it, because we had a chat and then I went and I've gone and had a look. And I think the first thing for me was just the aesthetics of it. It just it's an incredibly clean, well put together website. It looks great, but it's very user-friendly. So it's not hard. You're not trying to work things out. It's really, as you mentioned, it's 4 steps. And I don't think you could have made it any easier. It's very simple. You can go on, you can put the links in there, you can click add, and it gets all the information, puts it there with the picture and all that. And then you can literally send it to everyone. And now I'm sure some people are wondering, what about the cost? Like, does this cost? Run us through that.
So right now, what we're doing is the initial phase. For anyone that wants to sign up and try us out at the beginning, we will be waiving the cost for the transactional withdrawal fee. But later on, after we exhaust our reserve of money for the beginning.
Sure. Yep. Yep.
We're going to have a structure of one will be free and the other one will be a fee. So if you select a product on Chipin that is already featured there as one of the suppliers, because we're building relationships with suppliers already, they want to be part of our network. Then obviously your contributing is always free. We're drawing, if you purchase the gift through us, it's free for you as well. And if you select a fund option, then it's a little different. You can elaborate on the fund.
So the fund will basically be gifts that we don't have even in our product catalog, or it could be a custom fund where you don't really know what exactly you want, but you know your people want to contribute to something and you want to give them a descriptive, place for them to still contribute. Now, in the sense of the fund, there's a tier structure where you wanted a fund for $100 for a $100 gift. And we can't provide it on Chipin, then you have two options. Is one, you could withdraw the money, and that's where we would charge a transaction fee that we're waiving for the first $20,000 worth of transaction. And then the second option is you can transfer that fund money when the gift arrives on our platform. So the idea is once users start giving us that information, what do we want, and we don't have it, we're going to go and work hard to try and get that relationship to say, hey guys, look, we've got customers that want your product, we can work together, and we trickle that those discounts down. So we end up becoming a service that we provide the best price because products want to end up becoming on our platform because of our big users, our community. So everyone benefits. You're not paying so much for an iPhone, and every year those prices just seem like they keep going up. But with the power of the groups, you can hopefully bring the price down. So the fee is So the fee is 6% for gifts up to $100. Between 100 and 1,000 is 5%, and anything above $1,000 is 4%. So if you went to withdraw $1,000, you'd be charged $40, and then $100 you'd be charged $6 transaction fee.
Yep. That's awesome. It's good that you've got to have a structure to it, and there's but there is a bit of an early bird win to this as well before that. And again, you're launching this, and you're still part of doing this podcast and episode with you is to let couples know about it, because I think it's an incredible gift for their wedding to get this sorted. It's an incredible platform for gifts for their wedding, and I think it will make this whole process just a lot easier, and people will really be able to get what they want. Now, probably one thing to clarify is people aren't am I correct in saying that people aren't purchasing the gift directly from the website? It's allowing others to know what the individual or couple wants, and then they can send their profile link to family and friends who can contribute money, and then they can take that money from there.
That's correct.
Yeah, because the way the traditional gift registry process, like you mentioned, Maya, right now works is that one person buys one gift and then they deliver it to their house or something. And you need to, when you select that gift registry, you need to cater to different guests and to their different price points. So you need to pick something that's $200, also $20, and multiple items. So the way Chipin works is, yes, guests contribute, and then couples decide what they want to do with the money in the end. Because even if let's say the gift is fully funded, if they change their mind, they don't want that particular gift, they can always transfer it to something else or transfer it to their bank account. And the best thing about it is that there is no minimum for contribution. So you know how some gift registries are like, oh, minimum $50. We don't do that. We don't want to put a minimum for contributors because like we say, it's a little bit cliche, but every little counts. So
yeah, it does, 100%. And I think that's great, because there are some family members who are at different stages of their life, and to try and get a gift for, I remember being in your 20s and you're a student and you've got no money, you're thinking like, I'm going to a wedding, I should really try and get like a $50 gift. That would be really like, it's going to stretch the bank account, but we can do it. And then there are other times where, you're easily happy to throw, it's a family member and you're going to put $50 to $200 in without a second thought. So it's great that people aren't feeling limited by that, a particular registry style. set up. Whereas with Chipin, you can pick in, cool, I see they want a new pair of sheets or a new particular coffee machine, and boom, we can just put that on there, contribute however much they want.
Yeah, that's true. And also tying back to whatever you said before. Well, right now what I've discovered, and I've researched this a lot, is that people have stigma of giving money to people because they feel like if they just give money, the person is not going to spend it on a gift for themselves, but they will use it to pay the bills, pay the groceries, and all that stuff. So it wouldn't be special enough. With Chipin, you know that if you contribute, you know what you contribute directly to. Yeah. And then you know that, oh yeah, I have a new coffee machine, and I will think of, oh yeah, this many people contributed, and that's who made it possible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that symbolic way of your product staying with you for longer.
Love it. So good. And then of course you put the coffee machine on Instagram and you say thank you everyone who contributed to this one, and then of course they can put up the next post, still waiting for my massage machine, feel free, you can chip into this as well.
Exactly. Yeah, but the beauty of it is like that's what we're hoping to sort of the message to be, there's change in how everything's been like, buy now, pay later sort of model, where everything has been now, where we want to sort of change and start thinking of like save now, buy later. So it's like, your birthday's coming up, your wedding's coming up. And so, if you become organized, then you can get those things that you want. So the question is, how easy can you make something to be organized? And so that's why we're looking at the wedding industry as a great place to start, because we know for special occasions, you want to put more effort into that occasion. And that's the focus is, weddings are a great place, and even for us in our own experience, it's coming up. So we're going to be great customers of our own product as well, to see just how good it is as well.
Yeah, well, because even if you think about it, like we need to have 2 weddings. So one wedding in Australia, the second one in Europe. We are based in Australia, but if my grandma decides to give me a crystal vase that weighs like 10 kilos, how on earth am I going to transport it here? You know what I mean? So we just want to make it easier for anyone to, if they want to show their appreciation, they just contribute what we want.
That's the benchmark. If her grandma can use it in Slovakia, we know anyone can use it.
So then maybe that's a good question, is this tied to one currency? Does it always go to AUD? How does this work?
So we are in that stage where we are just still early, and we are looking to still expand, but we want to get Australia right, so it is limited at the moment to Australia. The next step would be to open up internationally and figure out some sort of conversion, but then then we'll start introducing other markets as soon as we see that we're getting enough traction to show we can move on to the next. But I think we're
the overall plan later on, because even like gifting, for me, I normally send huge boxes of gifts to back home because I've got 2 little nieces. But it's ridiculous because of the way how long you wait for this to be delivered, then customs and all these different things. It would be so much easier if I can just like literally send money towards, I don't know, my niece right now wants a drone for some reason. And I'm like, okay, why? So it was so much easier. I think that's a long-term plan. I'm starting with Aussie market, and we'll see how we go. Hopefully
Fantastic. So long term, obviously, it's where you're starting in Australia, and you'll be building into that international aspect, conversion, and all that. So the profile's free. You can set up your own profile. That's not a problem. You can put everything you want on there. And is there a limit on how many items you can put on there?
Not at all. So you can create funds for as many items as you want. And so there's no limitations on the amount of items in a wish list, and you can add any product that we have on there.
And also on chip lists, because you can create chip lists for someone else as well. So like let's say you want to surprise someone and you know what they want, that you want other people to contribute to it, you can create it for someone else and set the privacy settings so they don't see it.
Perfect. Okay, so you can create your own profile, you can put as much as you want on there. You can create someone else's profile and you can put as much as you want on there as well. And then asking for other people to contribute, they're not currently paying anything. They're just able to give, if they want to give 50, $200, $500 to the specific or multiple gifts, they can do that, and that's all done. And how are people then putting money on? Is it through direct deposit? Is it through credit card? How's that working?
Yeah, so we accept any payments. We're using Stripe. So Stripe's basically PayPal. So they're a security merchant or middleman. Merchants, they facilitate the whole payments. So
everything is encrypted. You don't store any information, obviously.
Yeah, so we basically accept everything from credit cards to PayPal to Google ID to Apple. It's really simple these days to sort of just get the one platform, and obviously we're paying that transaction value for each contributor, but we see it as something as such a simple thing to, it's
like a long-term goal. We don't want to charge anyone that contributes at all. So that's not going to change, because we just believe that if you contribute to someone, you shouldn't be charged.
If there's an alternative that's free, then it doesn't make sense to as well. So it's
Cool. And then currently for the next, I think $20,000, there's no fee for withdrawals, but clearly you guys have to eat. This is a developing app and business and a website and all that. That then there'll be small percentages that go on to withdrawing, and then depending on how much you withdraw will depend on the fee structure that is fit into that.
Exactly, and the beauty of that direction that we're going with is we can only get better, and as we do, the rates go down until they're positives. But, once you have people who build such a trust with the community and everyone else, they've begun to essentially leave their money there, and then we could be using that to invest, and then return that interest back to the accounts, and then you see appreciation in credits that you can then use. And again, it's that's exactly that's the whole idea of a community-based platform.
Now, you mentioned before that there are some items or gifts that as you're building relationships with different companies and partnering with others, that there are specific lists that people can contribute towards that people don't pay fees on. Did I hear that correctly?
It's not listed products. So we're building the app right now to feature products. So pretty much any product that we feature directly on Chipin. When you want to redeem them through the app, because that'll be possible, because that's what our developers are working on right now. To do it through the app. Then you wouldn't be charged any withdrawal fee, because you're not withdrawing the money to your bank account. You're literally spending it on the gift itself.
Fantastic.
The new feature we're coming out with the next release that we're really excited, because it's going to make it much easier. I actually got my dad to try and use it, and it didn't hit the mark, but it passed our mark. So it is a bit clunky in the beginning, but at the same time, we know that there's a much better experience coming through with just being able to buy through the app. So that's what we've been focusing on.
Awesome. Hey, you've got an incredible product already set up for people to use, and you're already thinking about the new things that you want to set up to just really comprehend and work well with it. So I see where you're taking this. It's fantastic. Now, obviously, there's a website. People can use the website. And I think we've had a little discussion about possibly doing a slight, even like a few-minute tutorial on just running people through. But there's apps. Now, there is an app. Now, do you have an app for both Apple and for all those who decide that they aren't good enough for Apple? Which I just want to let everyone know that you are good enough for Apple. You got to think higher of yourself. But I understand there's some people who don't want to go there to Apple. Can they still get it on those other phones? I don't even know what other people use.
Well, we have the couple that I'm an iPhone fanatic.
Excellent.
And he constantly tells me off.
Fadi.
He was bad salesman at JB Hi-Fi. He just wouldn't buy them.
That's pretty much it. The app is available for both Android and iPhone. But like we said, this is not the final version of the app yet. It will be launching soon with all implementation of the new changes.
So we are also on web.
And we're changing the website as well.
Correct.
As we speak.
Everything's going to get in motion right now.
For sure.
That's the exciting part. There's so many. But the app is is ready, and it's a different experience to the web. And that's where we're trying to focus on, is trying to have it all sort of consistent across all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is there an expiry for how long someone can have an item up there, and for how long the money sits there for?
No, it's a great question. So that's one of the things we want to try and promote. The idea that if it stays there, you're benefiting, because, like we said, we're very customer focused. And one thing that we know customers want is price match. So things like these features, or thoughts of, or the feedback we were going to get for customers. We've done a lot of this already. I think what we've just been lacking is just the time, really, because it's so difficult to pay how hard startups actually are, but it's been great at the same time. So yeah,
so there's no expiry, pretty much.
No,
and that's the beauty of it, because if you think about it, like all the new products, they come to department stores, they start off as one price, and then in 4 weeks' time, they go 50% off, and all these different promos and everything, so they can take advantage of that as well.
And then you get the credits back, and then and that process happens all over again.
Yeah.
Awesome. How good's that? Keeping it in lifetime, or it's not the term, I can't think what it is, but it's good. If there's a 50% off here, you'll see it on Chipin as well. Yeah,
definitely.
That's awesome, guys. I'd highly rate, and I went on the app recently, set it up. It was very self-explanatory, even in itself. Again, it looks great, easy to use. And from everything I'm hearing, it's only going to get better. It's only going to become easier and also more diverse as well. Cool. Hey, is there anything else about Chipin that you wanted to share?
To be honest, stay tuned, because we're changing, like we said, every day.
Oh yeah, we are raising a crowd. We're going to be raising a crowdfunding round. So basically opening it up to anyone who's wanting to invest as well. So again, another thing that we just to show that it is very community based. We're using a crowdfunding platform and to crowdfund our crowdfunding ideas. So so the opportunity. So stay tuned and subscribe on our landing page and find out more.
Yeah, we are on social media as well. I am the one responsible, so if you want to message me, message me.
Yeah, just say, hey, Zuzana.
Hey, Zuzana, Chipin here. Yeah, okay. So we are planning to launch it, because we just want everyone to know about it and use it, and that's what we want to do.
Awesome. Well, why don't we finish on now, because you guys are currently planning your wedding still. So technically you're planning 2 weddings, when you can eventually have one in Slovakia as well. So with everyone else planning their wedding, what would you say is the best piece of advice you could give to others who are currently in their wedding planning phase?
So I would say that it's similar like startups. Especially right now, because you never know what's going to happen, and everything changes so quickly that you need to be just flexible and adaptable and happy to rebook dates.
Or use Chipin.
So good. You can have 2
to plan to give the wedding you want, and then go all out on it.
Awesome. I think right now, that's great advice. Be flexible, because a lot of couples are having to reschedule, and it is tough for both couples and for the suppliers. So it's good advice. And of course, use Chipin. Go for it. And use it for your wedding. If you're listening to this because you just loved your wedding so much and you were like, oh, I'm not having another wedding again, but you can still use Chipin for your birthdays or for other people's gifts. You can go for it. Cool. Well, Fadi and Zuzana, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for the product you've created. We're going to make sure we put all the different links up there so people can get on the website, create their own profiles, and stay tuned, everyone, because there's more good things to come from Chipin. Great.
Thanks so much.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Okay. Bye.
Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.